right, well, good afternoon, everybody.
What was supposed to be a days-long hearing to discuss this, FPL's big ask for a rate hike that would make the company about $10 billion over 4 years, but add about 2.5% to the average electric bill.
All right, and show that that motion passes.
Now suspended. Florida's Public Service Commissioners will instead wait to see the details of a new tentative agreement that the power provider worked out with key stakeholders last Friday.
Can you at least tell me if it's going to be lower than the current proposal that's on the table?
What I can tell you is whatever we file is going to be a good deal for customers. It is going to keep bills low, well below the national average, reliability high, keep our grid resilient in the face of severe weather, and provide for the growth of this state.
Brian Gardner with FPL said the company would file the specifics of the new plan by August 20th. Commissioners would then come up with a new timeline for a settlement hearing to mull approval.
We're expecting 335,000 more customers to move to our service territory between now and the end of the decade. We need to be ready for that. And the grid is not something that you can just set and forget.
But the ask comes at a time when budgets are already tight for many Floridians. High housing and insurance costs, a monthly frustration. That's why consumer advocates like AARP
Here are the tear-off mailers that we sent.
Are critical of the idea of raising costs even higher.
You had to bring a bigger boat.
The group delivering commissioners boxes Monday of around 34,000 signed petitions urging them to decline the initial rate hike.
This settlement, does it give you any pause, any feeling of relief, or any hope?
No, it actually doesn't give much hope at all because the settlement totally eviscerates any transparency and accountability.
Zane Smith with AARP said even though these boxes were filled prior to the new agreement, she thinks customers will still take issue with getting charged more.
When you have an unnecessary rate hike, one that could be avoided, that's detrimental. If you have a $5, $10, $15 increase on your monthly power bill, that can be the difference between filling a prescription, buying a cart of groceries, or filling your tank with gas.
What happens next is unclear. Florida will have to wait for FPL to make its filing. But the settlement does have the backing in principle of a bunch of groups and companies like the Florida Retail Federation, Walmart, the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, federal executive agencies, and more.